This is the 2021 Oak Ridge Row for Masters. All kinds of states come here, so you can see all the license plates of all the cars that show up at the races. A lot of rowing clubs, a lot of different boat manufacturers. You can see all the different sculls. There's all kinds of singles, twos, fours, eights. It's quite an event. A lot of people, a lot of competition. These are some of the singles. I took these videos. They had a screen that people could come and look at, so the quality of the video isn't great because I'm basically videoing a video on a screen outside, but you get a much better view of some of the racing. And so there were some really good singles in these races. Some of the races were extremely close, and some of the might be towards the back, but they might win because of the handicap. I raced, when you got the older age, you get a bigger handicap, so you don't know exactly where you are until the handicaps are in, but you can see the strength and some of these rowing people, how good they are. They're launching their boat for their doubles race. The 6:02.025 was 02:50. Was a time on a 2K done by Mike Connors. Siobhan Duff, Megan Hannawall. A double. This is the launching of their double. They've been an incredible team together for many years, won lots of gold. But again, some of the video up on the screen shows just how close these doubles are. It's just amazing, the competition. And they had some aerial views with some drone that gives another view of the races, and you can see just how strong and how in sync these rowers are. Here's some fours. We had the singles, the doubles, the quads. Again, the intensity of the races are amazing, and there's the finish line, and these boats are awful close. Many of these teams, they train all year together, and they've been together for many years, so they know each other, and they work together in harmony, and they make these boats really move. It's really a pleasure to watch just how good some of these teams are and how efficient they move that boat through the water. Again, this is an aerial view with a drone of the fours. You really get a good sense of how they row together and how competitive the races are when you can get these views. The video isn't great because I'm basically videoing a screen, but you can really see how well they work together and how efficient they are. But it's one of the faster boats. They also had some cameras down on the water, so you get a closer view of the teams working together, and just really how competitive these races are. The last big group, here's the eights. Of course, the incredible power that can be generated by 8 rowers, and these things have really moved through. And again, you can see how competitive these racers are. Okay, Missy, We're here at the Oak Ridge Masters National Rowing Championships. So tell me how you got involved in rowing, what it's meant to you. Has it changed the quality of your life? Have you overcome anything? Give us a little bit of your history in the rowing athletic sport.
All right. Well, I came to rowing about 3 years ago. Always been a runner, and I teach fitness classes. I teach indoor cycling, and I found rowing because I'd always wanted to do the Learn to Row class, and I took to it right away. I was looking for something that I could get the physical benefits out of it, but not have to be a runner. I kind of thought, okay, I don't know how long I can keep running at this level as I get older.
If you were running ultra distances too, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I was running long distances and have run for 30 years. As a high school runner, and but kind of saw the future and thought, I don't know if I'm going to be able to kind of run like this and maintain this level of fitness as I get older. I turned 50 last year, so rowing for me has been that athletic sport that could kind of be that super competitive, get my heart rate up, really be almost more competitive in rowing than I could be in running. So
not banging up your knees.
Not banging up my knees, not my back. I feel strong. So great story. Last year, we trained for the indoor rowing, in the off season, and yep, our club,
pain machine.
Yeah, we trained for the 2K together, and so I rowed a lot. Came off the summer on the water with our club, of course, and then in the fall, trained for the indoor with my group, and then I decided to do a half marathon. In close to us at the Chickamauga battlefield. So I did that half. I signed up. Well, I hadn't done a lot of running that season because I'd been doing so much rowing. Got a few good long runs in, and I thought, well, what the hey, I'm just going to go run. Well, I PR'd that half marathon by about 20 years.
Wow.
And really all I could attribute it to was that I had been rowing more. So I got the cardio out of that, running less. So really my body was not all banged up and joints didn't hurt quite as much from all the road running. That's really the only thing I can attribute it to, because it's the only thing I'd been doing different.
So obviously you stayed in incredible physical health. Has that helped in terms of have you run into any obstacles like knee problems or shoulder problems or back problems?
Knock on wood, my issues have been very minimal. And that's kind of why I thought I'm going to go the rowing route, because I hadn't had a big injury running. I hadn't really developed anything more than just some minor stuff to work through. So not wanting to get to where I was injured. I sort of saw the preventative measures of switching sports, cross training, keeping it fresh. They tell you that if your body can do different things, that it's actually better in the long run. So about every 10 years, I like to pick up a new something. So at 40, I learned how to play golf. At 50, I learned how to row. So this is the beginning of my venture with rowing. It's my first time at this event. So luckily, I've got some great teammates that are around my age. They're going to get me through these races. So that's been really wonderful to have that camaraderie in a boat that you don't necessarily have running, even when you run with a group.
That is something about rowing, isn't it? There's a camaraderie. Like we're all here from Lookout Rowing Club, and there is that element is missing in a lot of athletic events.
Yeah, and I didn't really appreciate that until this summer when we really trained with a very tight plan, together, really practicing the whole teamwork thing. So I didn't really appreciate that until this season with this group. And we keep saying, we've got like 20 years of rowing together, guys. Let's not sweat it too much right now. We've got a long time to get to know each other and hang in that boat and travel together. So I'm at the beginning of this, kind of looking forward to where it can take me in the next 20, 30 years. I'm going to rock the, 80-year-old division someday.
You'll be with me. That's what I'll be.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
Bring it on. And you stayed in incredible shape, obviously, and so that's impacted the quality of your life. I imagine. I mean, you can do things with your kids, grandkids.
Oh yeah.
Just by maintaining that health that you have.
Oh yeah, I love to hang with my kids. One of my boys loves to, I have two boys, late high school, early college, and one of them is kind of like me, loves to be athletic and do all those things. So he was pretty impressed when I could keep up with him when I took him trail running, and Mom could hang with him just fine. So yeah, to your point, I love the idea that I can hang with my kids and hopefully grandkids someday.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And you say you cycle? Do you cycle?
Yeah, I don't really cycle on the road. I teach indoor cycling as a fitness instructor. So I came to that about 6 years ago, just kind of for something to do as my kids went to high school and something that could be flexible and part-time that I knew I would enjoy. So I'm more of an indoor cyclist, and when I discovered the rowing, that was really for me, not necessarily a work thing, but and they're similar, the whole endurance sports and all that kind of thing. So I saw a real easy transition into rowing. Now the technique is different, it's a whole different animal, and my crew is constantly reminding me that there's so many things to learn. You're never going to learn everything there is to know in rowing. So I find that idea of it, keeping it fresh and always something new going on, I think that will carry well as I age. And, they say as you age to always have something new that your brain can learn and, create those new synapses in your body. So We'll see where that goes. Interview me again in like 20 years.
Now, obviously, to be motivated to do the things you've done, I mean, is there a belief system? Is there anything that drives you? Is there anything strong in terms that helps you do the things you do?
That's a great question. I think that it has been over the last 30 years is that I always have a group of people that I work out with. So I run with my sister and my sister-in-law, and we have spent many, many, many hours, many, many miles together. So sometimes it's just the motivation of seeing other people. They keep you motivated. I think it's the desire to not want to have to battle health problems later. Like body in motion stays in motion. I tell people don't ever get out of shape, and you won't have to get back in shape. So that, I don't know that it's necessarily a specific belief, but rather just this idea that I want to stay at this level, and I don't want to have to get back into shape. So
what would you say to that person sitting on the couch that's watching this show that says, gosh, she's always been in shape, I can't do that, and they just don't have the motivation?
Find somebody, find a friend, drive them crazy, call them, say, hey, let's go walk, let's go do whatever. Find somebody that'll do it with you. And if you don't have a person like that's going to get up with you, find a place, find a club, find a gym, find something that you've got to put it on your calendar. You're going to go even on a day you don't want to go. So for me, it's always just been other people around me that keep me motivated.
That's great. Well, we thank you, and we'll look forward to seeing more rowing events that you're in.
Great, thanks.
Thank you.
I made a list of 50 things. That's what she's talking about. Are we still on?
Tell us about the 50 thing.
All right, the 50 thing. So I turned 50 last summer, so August, and the year leading up to turning 50, so the summer before my 49th birthday, I started planning this far in advance. I made a list of 50 things that I wanted to check off and have accomplished by the time my 50th birthday rolled around. And the top of the list was actually taking the Learn to Row class.
In Chattanooga
at our local Lookout Rowing Club right there on the Tennessee River. And so my husband and I did it together. He decided he would rather be on the golf course after 2 weeks of rowing, and I, took to it, of course, and that was fine. But yeah, so the rowing was actually the first thing on my list that I could check off. And there were so many fun things that I did in that year. There were a variety of some skills I wanted to learn, some things I wanted to experience, some personal things I wanted to accomplish. It was the best way to celebrate for an entire year. So for me, it was just being very intentional, making the list, thinking about it. Not anything in and of itself was like humongous, they were all sort of small, but they were all thoughtful. They were they were put on that list very specifically. The list was edited, numerous times before I actually hit the 49th. It was a fantastic way to spend that year. I would encourage anybody, to make a very specific thing. You write it down, it's going to happen.
So that's the next thing, that person on the couch out there that's
can easily say, I'll have another bag of potato chips rather than do.
Yeah.
Get them a piece of paper out, make a list,
Make something.
commit to something,
Something.
find a friend, and get them. You know, even if it's just starting to walk.
Yeah, totally. Just be specific. Decide what you want to do, write it down, and you just got to start.
Fantastic.
We want to thank you for watching RedefiningAging.us. I'm John Disterdick, your host. And our goal for the series is pretty simple. We just want to enhance the quality of people's lives. So if you know of an event that you think would be one for good for us to cover, please fill out the form on our website, and not only the event and what it is, where it is, when it is, and if there's a person you know that you think would be a good person for us to do a testimony on in some event, please let us know. And if you want a fuller description of my testimony, you can either go to johndisterdick.com and look under ministry, or you can go here at redefiningaging.us. We appreciate your viewership. God bless, and hope to see you on more shows.